Good day, everyone, especially to you, ma'am. I am Rachel Auntie Belandres, together with my co-reporter.
I am Lizelle in Pandeling.
And today, we're going to discuss about our topic,
Republic Act 9344,
Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act. Republic Act 9344, Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, an act establishing a comprehensive juvenile justice and welfare system, creating the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Council under the Department of Justice, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. So in Section 5, Rights of the Child in Conflict with the Law, every child in a conflict with the law shall have the following rights, including but not limited to. So, Republic Act 9344 was created to establish a fair juvenile justice system in the Philippines. Section 5 explains that the right of the children in conflict with the law that ensures that they are treated fairly, humanly, and with respect for their dignity. So, number 1 is the right not to be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment. So, it explains that every child has the right to be protected from torture, cruel, and punishment, and any form of inhumane or degrading treatment while under the law. So, ang mga tanan bata is naagid sila karapatan nga maprotektahan bitaw kanang mga dili makatarungan nga binuhatan or kanang bitaw gina-torture, gina-punishment, and also sa mga cruelty nga butang. So in second one is the right to be imposed a sentence or capital punishment or life imprisonment without the possibility of release. So a child cannot be sentenced to death penalty or life imprisonment because the law recognizes the importance of giving children a chance to change or rebuild their lives. So, ang mga bata is dili sila ginahatagan og kanang death penalty or life imprisonment tugod kay ang kaninga law is nag-recognize siya nga dapat tagaan pag-chance ang mga bata para magbago or makadesisyon para sa ilang better future. So, the third one is the right not to be deprived unlawfully and arbitrarily of his or her liberty. So detention or imprisonment being a disposition of last resort and which shall be for the shortest appropriate period of time. So it explains that child should not be deprived of liberty unfairly or unlawfully. So detention or imprisonment must only be used as a last resort and for the shortest possible period of time. So in letter D, so the right to be treated with humanity and respect and for the inherent dignity of the person and in a manner which take into account that he needs of a person of his or her age. So it explains that children in conflict with the law must always be treated with humanity, dignity, and respect while considering their age, condition, and personal needs. In letter A, the right to prompt access to legal and other appropriate assistance, as well as the right to challenge the legality of the deprivation of his or her liberty before a court or other competent, so independent and impartial authority, and to prompt decision on such action. So it explains that every child has the right to receive a legal assistance and to question the legality of their detention before a fair and independent court. So letter F is the right to bail and recognizance in appropriate cases. So it explains that in appropriate cases, children may be granted bail or to allow temporarily freedom while their case is being resolved. So that is all for my part, and I will give the rest of the time to Miss Pandeling.
Letter G, the right to testify as a witness in his or her own behalf under the rule on examination of a child witness. So every child has the right to testify and express their side as a witness in accordance with the rules that protect child witnesses. So letter H, the right to have his or her privacy respected fully at all stages of the proceedings. So the privacy of children involved in legal proceeding must be fully protected to avoid discriminations, embarrassment, and harm to their future. Letter I, the right to diversion if he or she is qualified and voluntarily avails of the same. So If qualified, the child can join a diversion program instead of going through full court punishment. Diversion means counseling, community service, or rehabilitation to help the child change. So letter G, the right to be imposed a judgment in proportion to the gravity of the offense where his or her best interest, the rights of the victim, and the needs of society are all taken into consideration by the court under the principle of a restorative justice. So, the punishment must match how serious the offense is while also considering the child welfare, the victim's right, and the good of society. Letter K. The right to have restriction on his or her personal liberty limited to the minimum and where discretion is given by the law to the judge to determine whether to impose fine or imprisonment. The imposition of fine being preferred as the more appropriate penalty. So the child should have as much freedom as possible. And if the judge can choose between paying a fine or going to jail, a fine is prepared. Letter L. In general, the right to automatic suspension of sentence. So the child usually has the right to a suspended sentence, meaning they may not immediately serve punishment while being given a chance to improve. Letter M. The right to probation as an alternative to imprisonment if qualified under the probation law. So if qualified, the child may be given probation instead of imprisonment. Probation means staying in the community under supervision instead of going to jail. Letter N. The right to be free from liability for perjury, concealment, or misrepresentation. So, the child cannot be punished for giving wrong statements while trying to defend themselves in the case. So, last letter, which is the O, other right as provided for under existing laws, rules, and regulation. So, every child also has other rights given by existing laws and rules. And that would be all for our topic. Thank you for listening.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Yvonne Trixie Miasco, and I will be the one to discuss the Republic Act 9442, the amendment to Magna Carta for PWDs, or the Republic Act 7277. It was created to give additional privileges, incentives, protection, and opportunities to persons with disabilities. This law also recognizes that PWD should have equal access or enjoy the same rights, respect, opportunities as other citizens. It also reduced the financial burdens and discrimination by PWDs and their families. In Chapter 8, or the other privileges and incentives, Section 32, persons with disabilities shall be entitled to the following. A. At least 20% discount from all establishments. So, the PWD should have 20% discounts in establishments like hotels, restaurants, and recreation centers. For example, if the PWD eats in restaurants and their bill is 1,000, so that 1,000 pesos bill will be deducted 20%, which is 200, and the PWDs pays 800 pesos only. So they should have 20% discount in this following establishments. Second is the minimum of 20% discount on admission fees. So PWDs also have discounts in places for entertainments and culture such as movie theaters, museums, carnival, and other amusement places. For example, a cinema ticket costs 350. So, ang mabayaran sa mga PWDs will be deducted 20%. So, we should know that, no? And next is at least 20% discount for the purchase of medicine. So the PWDs can buy medicines from drugstores with a 20% discount. So if the PWDs have maintenance medicine, so they can have it with discounted prices. For the D&E, at least 20% discount on medical and dental services both in public and private hospitals. So the PWDs will be 20% discounted in laboratory fees, CT scans, so any kaning hospital consultations kay na sila deduction of 20%. And next is at least 20% discount on fare for domestic air and sea travel, such as kaning airplane fares, kaning sa mga barko. So naghapon sila 20% discount sa ilahang pamasahe, pero within Philippines lang nga travel. Next is a 20% discount in public railways or transportation, such as bus fares, railways, and skyways fare. So nagyud sila yung mga discount aning mga public transportation. Next is educational assistance to persons with disability. So PWDs may receive scholarship, financial aid, subsidies, book allowance, learning materials, and uniform allowance. So kana sila nga mga subsidies or mga assistance is effective both public and private school. Next is to extend practicable and feasible the continuance of the same benefits and privileges, government services, insurance system or GSIS, social security system, and pag-ibig. So ang mga PWDs may continue receiving benefits from these insurances. Okay, next is the special discounts on basic commodities such as rice, sugar, canned goods. So if ang PWD kay mag-grocery during a government assistance program, so they can have special discounts. Next is provision of express lanes for persons with disabilities. So the PWDs is priority even in grocery stores, no, sa mga ganang mga establishments. So they are priority so that they won't be waiting too long. Next is and to claim this discount, so the person should have proof that they are entitled in such privileges. So the PWDs must present proof such as PWD ID issued by the municipality or the city so that they can have this privileges and discounts. Next, in section 33, the incentives to those caring for and living with a person with disability shall be granted the following incentives. So this section not only grant PWDs but also to those who support them, such as their families who care for them, caregivers who assist them, and organization that provides homes and services for them. So first is PWDs as dependents for tax purposes. So ano sa may pasabot ani? So under this law, persons with disabilities may be treated as dependent for tax purposes. This means nga ang family member and caregiver supporting the PWD may receive tax benefits or deduction from the government. Since ang PWD child is considered dependent under the law, so ang parents is makareceive og tax deductions helping the family nga ma-reduce ang financial burdens. Next is individuals or non-government institutions establishing home, residential communities, or retirement villages solely to suit the needs and requirements of persons with disability shall be accorded the following. First is the reality tax holiday for the first 5 years of operation. So, ang kadtong mga institution, organization, rehabilitation center may receive this incentive. So, they may be kaning exempted sa pagbayad og tax in the next 5 years. And also priority in road construction and maintenance. So katong roads nga gikan sa balay sa PWD to the rehabilitation center should be prioritized for repair and development.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning. At this time, I'm going to continue the discussion of Miss Miasco under the RA 9442. And my topic is all about the chapter 1, which is the deliverance from ridicule. Under the section 2 is prohibition or non-verbal or verbal ridicule and vilification against person with disability. So this section, the section 39, public ridicule, this section is talks about the public ridicule against the person with disability. Public ridicule means making fun, insulting or mocking or humiliating a person because of their disability. And this can happen through words, action, writing, gestures, joke, and even online posts. And also, this law protects the persons with disability from being laughed or treated with disrespect because of this action. Can hurt their feelings, their confidence, and also their dignity. And next is the section 40. The section 40 states that no individual, group, or community shall execute of any of these acts of ridicule against the person with disability any time and any place which could intimidate or result in loss of self-esteem, law, or this kaniang section. It talks about the kaniang prohibition of individuals, that no groups or individuals or community allowed to commit an act ridicule against with a person with disability at any time and any place. Kay usually the ridicule can happen in kani ang mostly jud no kaning mahitabo siya sa public places. Kay it's because it can cause discrimination or mocking of a person with their kaniang disability, maybe inside or outside the classroom, maybe inside and outside the workplace, and any of kaniang public places na mahitabo jud ni siya. This can be kaniang mahitabo, this can be happen. For example, let's say an instance, for example sa school. So school setting, there's a school activity, and some student intentionally include a diff of their include a diff classmate and making kaniang insults such as showing the gesture toward him. And also this action can intimidate the person and make him feel embarrassed or unwanted. And under the law, this behavior is prohibited. Kaya nga naman, it can cause nga maulaw, di ba? Syempre kaning maulaw to siya nga tao or kato nga estudyante, and also pud masakitan pud to siya. And it's the vilification with person with disability. Vilification means speaking or acting the way that degrees, humiliates, or attack the dignity of the person with disability. No. Okay, for example, let's say an instance kaning naay social media post. Maybe sometimes kaning makita nako siya kaning media post bitaw nga kani ang video reaction nga na. Although video reaction gara-gara siya, maybe intention nga yang content just for fun or whatsoever. And kani ang makita na ko sa video nga kani bitang magakuan siya na siya video reaction toward that kind of person, and wala siya kabalo behind that kind of kaniyang his or her video reaction nakakause na siya og kaniyang intimidation towards the person. And also kani ang unsay tawag ani, and also not specifically those kind of person. And how about the persons who are watching that video nga naapod sila kani ang impairments toward themselves. And also kani siya nga kind of mga video kay makapromote siya og hatred and disrespect, especially labi na sa mga maglantaw kay syempre makaana ta nga disrespectfully ang gibuhat. And also like sa social media kay just for kani ang content, just for fun, just for view and whatsoever that kind of their purpose, as long as nga wala sila kabalo, maybe nakabalo sila but they are ignoring their kani ang they are ignoring the main point, right? The main point of kani ang discrimination toward the person. And after humanaman ta sa after the kaniang vilification under the section 2, okay, let's proceed to the kaniang section 3. The section 3 is amendments ni siya sa RA 7277. And those I mentioned earlier nga mga it depend kung ma-prove siya sa court. And also ang fine pud niya mga 5,000, not more than 50,000, basta kay as long as nga ma-prove siya sa court, so liable gid siya kani ang sa tawag ang iha gitong i-face nga consequence. In conclusion, those sections of the law aims to protect the person with disability from discrimination, ridicule, humiliation, and abuses. The law protects and promote the kaniang respect, equality, and human dignity for all people. And as a student, as a future teacher, and also as a member of our society, community, we should practice kindness, understanding, and inclusivity towards the person with disability, to help and create a fair and supportive community. Kaya it's because syempre kita man ang kaniang blessed nga mga tao kay pasalamat ta kay it's because wala nato na experience or wala sa atoa ang ilahang kahimtang. And also instead nga kita ang mag-act og mga kaniang unnecessary, kita na lang ang mag-make og kaniang respectful community kanang such as kaniang mag-respect i-respect na to ang katong nga mga tao, even though unsa ang ilang katayuan sa ilahang kaugalingon, sa ilahang kinabuhi, and based pod sa ilahang physical appearance, mag-respect lang gid nato. Wala man po'y mawala sa tuwa kung magrespetuhay ra gid ta kay syempre as I said kaganina, ang respect no word it is a simple word, but also it can impact, it can impact the whole selves of you, or in any person kay ngano man. For example, ang kaning tao nga walay respeto, kaning pag makabanggit sila sa imuhang name, mana na sila ay wala na siya respeto nga pagkatao. So those kind of kani ang overview sa tao bitaw in part sa imuhang kaugalingon, kay maka-affect gid kaayo siya. And I guess that's the end of my presentation. I hope you learned something from our discussion karon, and thank you and God bless.